Yeah. Of course, that's not good. Yeah. Hello, everyone. We are just grinding it out before the football game. That's all we care about today. Short-term rentals. No, I have never touched short-term rentals. I know exactly what you're talking about, though. A lot of people have suggested that for me, and I just don't have anything really good. I could do folding chairs and stuff, and I've thought about it. I just don't think it's gonna be that successful for me. I'm glad the audio is good. I thought it'd be pretty crappy, honestly, because my mic is way off screen. Here we go again. I've live streamed once in my life. That was months ago. I was celebrating a $20 day on YouTube. My things have progressed. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, I am a Dallas Cowboys fan living in Pennsylvania. So it could be a really good night tonight, or it could be really bad. What about remote task? I haven't gotten remote task in. I haven't gotten a single task to do in about a month now, and the ones that I was on was absolutely horrendous. They were paying like $12 an hour, and it was like the most tedious, mind-numbing work I could have done. How's the weight loss coming? Well, it was going pretty well until I'll tell you what. It's true what they say: when the wife's pregnant, the husband gets pregnant too, because it is really hard to match her energy and go on a diet. I mean, overall, I'm down like 8 or 9 pounds. I feel like I'm going to gain like a pound of water weight tonight, but I'm down 8 or 9 pounds, so it's not like I'm doing bad. I can't say I'm trying that hard. So I will take it really serious once the baby's on its way in late May. Just because with my back issues and stuff, if I start putting on more weight, the kidneys are gonna explode on me. So I gotta take it serious whether I want to or not. I I would show the screen that I'm working on, but that would be against terms of service for all these sites. How much have I earned today? Well, YouTube is 2 days delayed, and it was for how things have been going, it's been lower. It's like 38 bucks on YouTube, and then the Amazon influencer program, I got like 10 bucks. And then right now, as we speak, I'm doing consulting work for an external company, and then I'm also doing mechanical Turk and a little bit of data annotation.tech when I have a lull between the two. So I think at the end of the day today, I'll probably get like the $75 range. Got in a remote task, working on a task, and they pay 5 cents per hour. If you are outside the United States, remote task is a joke. I mean, it's they don't care about their international workers in any capacity, which is funny because I don't know why they advertise that they're like such an international friendly company when they're really not. Yeah, remote task is definitely a horror show. And if any of you have been following me for a while, you know I did that like remote task clone video where it was outlier try outlier, and like I looked into that company more, and that parent company is based out of the Philippines, and I'm just like, it's getting more interesting and interesting, like how this is getting outsourced. And I've done like 7 assessment tests for that outlier, that remote task clone, and I have not heard back at all. And it was funny because it's like I'm an accountant, that's my degree, and I'm a financial analyst by trade. So it's like I'm very clearly qualified to give accounting and financial advice. And like, I have not heard back at all from those assessments, so I don't know what's going on there. Did I ever try click workers? I tried that for about a day and realized I got like it's worse than Mechanical Turk, honestly. I can get paid more on Mechanical Turk than I can on click workers. I would do DA full time. I know a lot of people always say just do data annotation full time, but it's just I like venturing. It's part of my ADHD brain that like I got to try different stuff at all times. But it does make the most sense. I'm getting. I have a project right now that I enjoy doing that's paying 27.50 an hour. So it's just stupid of me not to do it, honestly. But there's something about working on Mechanical Turk where it's like I can get a task, do it in like less than 30 seconds and get paid 10 cents. It's that quick dopamine hit of like, boom, did a task, boom, get paid. It's like it's so satisfying, but it's like I'm getting nowhere close to 27.50 an hour doing Mechanical Turk. So what about data annotation? Get ads as a CS student, computer science, come in and work in code stuff. Yeah, data annotation is so like it's clearly I've preached data annotation sites so often, touting that it's the best get paid to do work website, and yet like they advertise so heavily. When I'm on my Facebook page, I get advertisements on dataannotation.tech every single day and every single time I log in. And then it's like, we need coders, we want coders. And then they get a flush of people just rushing in to apply for their coding stuff. And then like they accept like 10% of people. So it's like, I don't know exactly what they're looking for. Are they looking for like a specific country? Do they want a specific program? Like, I don't know. Although I just had one follower of mine say that they applied for coding like 2 days ago and they got in. So I wish there was like some kind of like this. I was perplexed to not be accepted. I must have missed an obvious detail. I Yeah, exactly. I don't know. And I've seen I my latest long form video was like I took the starter assessment and I didn't realize that I stupidly worded that because it's like, yeah, I took the starter assessment, but I was really complaining about like the qualifications to get into the core, which is essentially the working on chatbot stuff. The starter assessment, like I got accepted with like less than 5 minutes. So it's like I clearly answered everything right there. And then the qualification is what seems to be tripping everyone up. But I've had people take the starter assessment, they were confident that they did it right, and then they don't hear anything at all. So it's like again, it's like I don't know why it's so difficult for them to like narrow down and just say like, hey, you failed this part and you can't retake the test, or you passed, you got like a 90% or whatever. So it's like I don't know what their criteria is. They clearly have some criteria because some people take the starter assessment and immediately they like can't move on to the qualifications. I get a lot of comments on my DAT videos saying like, "Hey, like I took the starter assessment," and it immediately said like, "Thank you for your interest," um, but they didn't even get qualification tests. So it's like I don't know what to say at that point. Didn't even get the starter assignment. What are you in the United States? That's another thing too that I don't get. That like people can sign up for whenever and then they don't even like get any task or anything. This guy looks smart. Don't mind me right now. I wish I could show this. Right now I'm on Mechanical Turk, viewing male dating profile pictures for 3 cents a pop. It's one of my favorite ones to do. It takes literally less than 5 seconds. And some of these pictures are just hilarious. They're not going to tell you where they would get inundated. Yeah, I could see that, but I feel like they can make the qualification test more like and I know another part of the reason is like they don't want to tell you exactly what you got wrong because people are just going to like create fake accounts and like even if they did like phone number verification, they would just get people who like get those like ghost numbers or whatever, or they just pay like $10 for a fake number to get the two-factor verification. It's like I get their reasons, and it's also anytime I go into my Reddit threads on data annotation.tech, it's always like people complaining, like I didn't hear back, like I didn't hear back from the assessment. They didn't give me any notification. It's like a lot of the counter arguments for people who are already in is like, well, if you apply to a job, like 80% of the time, they're not going to tell you that you failed because of this reason, or half the time they won't even tell you if they looked at your resume or not. So it's just one of those annoying things. I think it's the waiting game that pisses a lot of people off. You just when you find sites like that and it's like, oh, I feel like I want to work today. I want to make $20 an hour today, right now. And it's like you take that test for an hour and then you don't get back for a couple days. Well, either you lose interest or you're just so frustrated because now when you finally do get accepted, oh, I can't work. So it's just like it's just one of those can't win situations. But once you get in the dating annotation.tech, there's no other get paid site. There's no better site in my experience so far, anyway. Look at this guy just hanging on the beach, showing off the six pack, huh? But ugh. And for those of you who are curious, like, because I'm just being fully transparent here, as I always am. Like, YouTube is by far like the best like money making venture I can do here so far, and I've been uploading a daily short every single day. And if you're curious if I make a decent amount of money uploading the shorts, the answer is absolutely not. But the shorts have paid a little bit better. So I remember one of my first shorts that I ever did on this channel when they first let me do them. Like it got like 2,000 views or whatever, and it paid a penny. So I'm like, okay, well, you clearly need like hundreds of thousands of views to make shorts like a realistic money making venture, which is true. But the shorts that I upload now daily get about anywhere from like the 200 to 600 view range. And like, if it gets towards 600 views, those shorts pay about 4 to 5 cents. So it's like, it's not like I'm uploading these shorts every night and I'm getting rich off the back of it. I don't want people watching my shorts who are like new to the channel and think like, wow, he's just uploading these shitty 40-second videos and he's getting paid like $30 a day. It's like, why wouldn't I do that? And then it's just like, no, 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 no. The shorts, I get paid maximum like a nickel per video. So I'm doing that. It's just like a daily vlog to keep myself accountable. When I weigh myself tonight and see that I'm fatter, it's nice. But yeah, I do not get paid well from the shorts, but I'm getting some new subscribers, so it's absolutely worth it. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with the shorts, just invite more people to the channel, realize what I'm about. All right. Are you still selling on eBay? When I have the opportunity, absolutely. So the last eBay sale I did of like all my Nintendo Switch stuff, I think I made after fees and shipping around 220 bucks. And I am actively looking on Facebook Marketplace to see if there's video games that I can buy and flip. It's just harder to come by nowadays. It's an oversaturated market. People realize how much money there is to be made in flipping that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try to sell more on eBay this year, and to reach my outlandish goal of $40,000 in side hustle income, I'm going to have to sell stuff like that. I'm going to have to go above and beyond what I'm doing here, which is just like YouTube, Mechanical Turk, Data Annotation.tech. Once my consulting contract ends at the end of April, it's going to be a real grind to get 40K. So stuff like eBay is going to have to be a much bigger factor. Do you think maybe Data Annotation.tech are only accepting people with LinkedIn accounts? Well, I'm glad you said that because we are about to find out, because current the current sign-in that I'm working on my personal one, I did link my LinkedIn account. And the one that I just created for my wife did not use a LinkedIn account. And honestly, the skills are very comparable. So that could be a very good point. We'll see if the LinkedIn account makes a difference. I could see them favoring the LinkedIn accounts just because they're able to get a glimpse of your professional career. And it's, although theoretically you could lie on your LinkedIn page, you're less likely to, especially if you have a bunch of followers. How much time do you usually spend on Mechanical Turk? We're talking tops 2 hours a week, tops. I don't take it serious at all. I just do the really quick hitters, the ones that pay like 3 cents and 10 cents. Maybe I'll like at most nowadays, in all seriousness, maybe $10 a week. And that's if I'm like really like just having on my computer in the background if I'm working from home or whatever. But even that's so rare because with my new job, I have to focus so much at work. So I'm barely touching Mechanical Turk. And there's no reason for me to really grind on it anymore because all of the good paying task, the requesters either fulfilled their project or they just don't pay well anymore, or they're just not on the site anymore because I know Mechanical Turk's like, if you want to be a requester on it, it's really hard to like get payments out. So yeah, tops 2 hours a week on Mechanical Turk. My country YouTube pays like $1 per thousand views. Honestly, like a long form content, even in the United States, like if you don't have a niche that YouTube likes, $1 to $3 per thousand views is not that uncommon. For whatever reason, talking about side hustles is like a popular niche. I know finance and personal finance, YouTube, like that niche pays the highest in terms of like ad revenue. For some reason, side hustles gets a lot because again, I'm preaching transparency here. Like if I get 1,000 views on one of my videos, like say the last one I did with the data annotation.tech starter assessment, that video got about like 1,100 to 1,200 views, and I think I got paid like $10 for it. So like $10 per thousand views, that's a really good conversion. And I'm very blessed that like I'm able to make any money at all YouTube talking about these side hustles. But it is just a thing, like you have to get into the right niches or else it doesn't pay. And I find that really stupid because it's like you're showing the advertisements no matter what niche you're doing. So I don't really understand why one would be more favorable to the other. I guess it's just finance ads pay higher to Google. So Google gives you your split, and those split on those type of ads just pay more as opposed to like, I don't know, World of Tanks if you're doing gaming or something. I linked LinkedIn, still didn't get in. Well, there you go. There's an anecdote that LinkedIn is not always the answer. Flex jobs maybe is the answer. Yeah, I've looked into flex jobs too. Personally, it's just like because of my own situation where it's like if I'm going into the office, I'm out of commission for 12 hours of the day, and I've been working at home. Like if I want to do side work, like it's got to be on the computer. So it's like I can't really go outside of my house and do much. The only stuff that I can go outside of the house and do much is stuff like eBay and picking up stuff to flip, just because it's quick and fast. And the post office is like less than a mile from my house, so it's easy. And then even if the items are above a pound and I have to go through UPS, I can just drop it off at a local CVS, which again is less than a mile away. So it's more about convenience when making as much money as you possibly can. That's why YouTube is such an attractive option for me. It's just put my webcam on. I don't have to leave my house, and with my pregnant wife right now, I don't really have much time at all, especially if I'm going to the office and losing 12 hours of my life. I'm already on like 3 hours of sleep, so that's not going to be a problem with the baby. But it's just like, I can't sacrifice any more of my life to doing like external work. Mind if I ask what real estate market you're in? What is housing like where you're at? Well, I don't know if you're a realtor, if you actually care or not, but like I live in Bumblefuck, Pennsylvania, and my area right now, the reason my wife and I love this area is because we're like 15 minutes away from a decently urbanized area, but like we're still like in the sticks in the farmland of Pennsylvania. And like our house, if we bought our current house, which we bought for 440K, if we moved this house like 15 minutes towards the urban area, this house would be like an 800K house. So it's just like right now it's starting to creep up a little. I think people are starting to realize this market is a little bit cheap and it's starting to get more and more expensive. Like we bought our house 440 last year at the end of 2022, and we're estimated already towards 500,000, which to me is crazy. We didn't like do anything, and the interest rates are sky high right now. So to me, it's crazy. Hello, Coco's Crazy Life. Have you looked into rank and rent website building? A lot of upside potential. Rank and rent. I don't even know what that is. A website building. Yeah, I honestly have no idea. Data annotation valid in India? I don't think so. No, I think data annotation is US, UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, even countries that like have a lot of English speakers for whatever reason they don't want to accept them. And I think even like the UK, like Ireland and Australia, New Zealand, I think even that was like just recent to data annotation tech. Could be wrong, but I know like there's only like 5 countries that data annotation allows, and I have no idea if a VPN would work or not. I would never suggest that. I know it's against their terms of service or whatever, but like, if you don't give a crap and you want to just see for yourself, I have no idea if a VPN would work. So, all right. Can we get any? Yeah, we got a few Mechanical Turk hits here. Sure, sure. Good smile. Looks professional. All right, let's do some consulting. By the way, if anyone cares about football or not, as a Cowboys fan, I'm petrified of this game. I mean, Mike McCarthy going against this old team. I I hate the matchup. I think he's just going to try and outsmart the room and do things that he doesn't need to. And I think it's going to be way closer than it needs to be. If the Cowboys weren't playing at home, I honestly think they would lose. But just because for whatever reason, they're a different animal playing at home, I think they'll actually sneak it out and win. So I'm just nervous. I don't like the matchup at all. Green Bay has a lot of one-on-one talent outside in the wideout position that could give the Cowboys a lot of problems, but we'll see. All right, anything there? I will say though, doing the daily shorts, sometimes it's a hassle. Like last night, I was with my buddy hanging out until like 11:15 at night, and what I do for those daily short vlogs is like I'll record just clips during the middle of my day, and then I usually record what I eat. Today, you'll see I had 3 slices of pizza, so I'm definitely gaining some fat today. But like, I'll record the food, then I'll record either like me going for a walk or whatever, and then I have to use TikTok's editing app, which is like CapCut. And at the end of the night, I'll input everything that I have that I earn for the day for my images from YouTube and Amazon Influencer Program. And if I work on Mechanical Turk or something like that, put it into my Google Sheets spreadsheet. And then I have to go off the spreadsheet and I have to input it into the CapCut edit. So it's just like, you know, I like doing it, but when I'm busy, like I was last night, where it's like I wasn't even back in my house until like 11:15 at night, can be a real pain in the butt. But there is something satisfying about getting out a video every single day, even if it only earns me like 3 cents for the video. Something satisfying. Seeing just even one subscriber from those shorts coming onto the channel is very rewarding in my experience. Have I tried user testing? I have done a video on that saying it could be my next side hustle, but I applied on user testing and I did my test like review video either January 1st or January 2nd. It is January 14th. And I have still not heard back. When I click on the website for user testing, I scroll down, it still says my practice test is in review. So I'm very anxious to do user testing. And I know I'd be decent at it because I have a decent microphone and I have a decent webcam here. So I thought that would just be like, hey, no brainer. I can do this. I'm able to record my screen without issues. So user testing, I will say, based on the comments that I see, either it's like the greatest side hustle that they ever worked on, or it's like, oh, user testing is so god awful. I can't get a single qualification. Like, I can't do a single one. I'm not qualified for any of them. So it's like, I've seen people and they've showed screenshots. I've seen people make over $1,000 a month doing user testing. And on the flip side of it, I've seen people who said they've been on user testing for months and they've gotten like one review to do. So it's just like, I want to get in for myself and test it out, but it's just like, hey, if I don't get accepted, I can't really do updates and videos on it. But user testing is one that I'm so eagerly waiting to get accepted so I can see what happens. But it's just like, I don't know. I can't do anything if I'm still waiting. I think that was my last community post that I posted on my channel too. It's like, I'm just waiting. Can't do anything else more with it. Let's see, switch this. Consolidate. Thanks everyone that's watching. I can't believe there's 23 people actually watching me, just my ugly ass face, just working on side hustles on the other monitor that I have. I mean, I love interacting with anyone that follows. It blows my mind that my channel is 15,000 subscribers. I can't comprehend that. When I first started doing these videos and like doing like just vlogging essentially what I'm earning and doing on side hustle websites, like I didn't think I would ever even get to the point of monetization, let alone get that 15,000 subs. I thought maybe I'll get to 1,000 subs and then it's like, maybe I can make like $1 or something. But like, I am absolutely amazed at how much this channel has grown and taken off. I guess now I got to set a target of like 25,000 subs or whatever. But truth be told, so, how much material can I do if I'm just working on the same websites over and over? Don't want to beat a dead horse. So, in case anyone is curious here, um, like I know I'm very vague when I say like, oh, I'm doing consulting for an external company or whatever. And when I say consulting, like that's the most generic thing. I could be just making it up, right? Could be complete bullshit that I'm just saying, oh, I'm doing consulting. I'm getting paid $50 an hour. Just believe me. Woo. I could be, doing illegal gambling or something stupid. But point one, in all my shorts, I take snippets of my bank account to prove that I am getting paid an ACH. So it's not just like this random deposit or whatever. But my consulting work is I'm an accountant and I worked as a like consolidation specialist, meaning I'm like deep into like the financial systems, financial software part of accounting. So I got very good at understanding systems and whatever. So it's like my external consulting work is working with the systems, helping consolidate on a monthly basis. So a lot of it is a little bit technical on the system side, but you still need that accounting background. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm not really seeing financial numbers anymore. I'm just doing more system oriented work. It's one of those just niche positions. And I'm helping out another employer just on the weekends, just doing simple stuff. So I'm not getting like a huge amount of money from my consulting, but it's absolutely a kick in the butt that helps the 40K challenge. Nick Wood has rank and rant videos that say you can rent websites for 1,500 a month. All right, I'm writing that down. Writing that down. And I actually am writing that now. Rank and rent websites. And who you say this was? Nick Wood. All right. Well, Martino, I'll look into it and I'll see if I feel like there's any viability or not, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. Just had a YouTube ad on here. Saw an ad. I mean, oh, I didn't know that YouTube. I just I have no idea what I'm doing with the live stream, so I just like click live on YouTube, and if they show ads, well, that's kind of cheesy. Maybe I'll get paid like a penny for it. Thanks for the inspirations. I've been watching you for a long time, and it will be really great to watch you successful in your life. Well, thank you. I greatly appreciate that. Every once in a while, I got to step back and realize where I came from, and just it's crazy the progress I made in my life, and I never thought I would be where I am today based on how I grew up. Let's see. I grew up considerably poor. I wouldn't say like poverty, but definitely lower than middle class. I grew up in a family of five. I was the youngest, even though I grew up to be 6'5". So being the youngest, you're not, you don't look like you're the youngest, or at least you don't grow like you're the youngest. But anyway, like my family lived in a half double house, and the full house used to be a boarding house from like 1903. I think my childhood house was. Um, so yeah, I my bedroom was a converted walk-in closet. So grew up in a very small. I didn't even have a door to my bedroom. It was just like a sliding, like crappy door that you would use for like a shitty closet. So, definitely below the middle class growing up. So the fact that I'm making any money on YouTube or whatever, it just blows my mind. Have you tried user testing? Yeah, preached on that earlier. I have a video saying like I applied for user testing. It might be my next side hustle that I do, and I'm looking forward to trying it out because I feel like I would be a good candidate for that kind of stuff. But I applied either January 1st or 2nd. It's January 14th, and my practice test is still in review. So if you thought dataannotation.tech was slow in reviewing your stuff, well, user testing says hold my beer. Any other website review site? I personally, honestly, don't even know of any. So if you know of any, I would absolutely give it a shot. Um, but user testing seems to be the biggest one where people have had success if they're able to get reviews. But who knows? User testing has also been around for a while, so it could be one of those sites like Mechanical Turk where it's just like back in the day, like 17 and 18, you could make. I've seen people make over $10,000 a year on Mechanical Turk. Nowadays, if you try and do that, good luck. And I have a feeling user testing might be in that same ballpark where it kind of got oversaturated. People started picking it up more and more, and it's just the problem with oversaturation is, yeah, you can continue to get a lot of good workers. You also get a lot of crap workers, and the people who want their websites reviewed, they get crap workers, and then they stop going to that site, and then they just ruin it for all the good workers. And I think that's what happened on Mechanical Turk. There's so many threads of Mechanical Turk where it's just like people in India and like Bangladesh have like these like bot farms, and they can just do all these like clicks and whatnot. And it like I've seen survey requesters who put surveys on Mechanical Turk, and they would go to the Reddit threads and they would show some of the answers that these like Indian farms or whatever, these Facebook groups, I've seen them, like they put like, oh, it would be like, do you have any additional comments on the survey? And would just be like a string of 300 letters that are gibberish, and like none of the answers would make sense, and they fail all the attention checks. And it's just like, well, there's a reason why Prolific is getting all the surveys, and Connect. Connect used to be a part. Connect Cloud Research used to be a part of Mechanical Turk. They used to be a part of the researchers on there, and there's a reason why they kind of disparaged and did their own website now, and that's why Prolific is getting all of it, because you have to verify, and there's a lot more stringent, like getting your ID and whatnot. So I can understand why requesters have just absolutely dropped out on Mechanical Turk. User testing, user brain, try mute, play mute. All right. Thank you, Brian Murray. I am snipping that as we speak and saving it so I can look into. And I'll all right. User. Thank you, Brian Murray. Have I tried Appen? I applied, and Appen was a very similar situation to OneForma, where I think it's the same project too. It was like either Project Milky Way or Project it was like Lightspeed or something. But I have a video on my channel saying like I refuse to do Appen just because it paid, I think, like $14 an hour. And initially, and someone else told me that this isn't correct, even though this is what they say. But initially, they said, like, oh, you need to be able to work at least 20 hours a week to be considered for this project. And the same thing was said on OneForma. But when I posted on my video on OneForma, someone said, like, no, you don't have to work on it for 20 hours a week. And it's like, okay, well, that's fine. But it's like, then why do they put it in their project description that you need to? It's not like, we would prefer workers who would work 20 hours. It says you need to be able to work at least 20 hours a week. So, as someone who has a career, 20 hours a week for something that pays $14 an hour, like at best, is asinine. So there was no reason to get into Appen. And again, that's why, like, even though Mechanical Turk is terrible nowadays, I still like doing it. It's because like I can just work on like a 10-cent hit and get paid. And like there's no minimum like thresholds or minimum payouts or anything. And it's just like the work takes less than 20 seconds. I don't need to work 20 hours on Mechanical Turk to like get paid out. So, it's simple. And sometimes my ADHD brain likes that stuff. I did some work with Appen several years ago, barely any work. And when there was, the pay was terrible. Well, Kate, thanks for backing me up, because that's what I've read on forums too. And like after reviewing the site myself and applying for stuff, yeah, that's what I experienced. And also, the thing that I did not like with Appen is the project that I did get like an invitation to work on. Not only was it the 20-hour a week thing, but it was also W-2, which for me, like when I'm doing these freelancing websites, I do not want W-2. I do not want the taxes taken out right away. As someone who either right now I'm taking my full amount and putting it on my truck right now, but when I didn't have my truck, all my side hustle income was going into a high yielding savings account. So it's like I'd rather make money on the gross amount of what I work on and then build up the interest a little bit. And kind of that interest takes care of some of the taxes. You're losing out when you get those taxes deducted immediately. Some people, I can understand why some people like the W 2 job versus like a 1099 miscellaneous filing, because it's like, then they don't have to worry about it. It's like, okay, I know I already paid my 25% taxes or whatever. I can just take this paycheck and not worry about it. But for me personally, that isn't working. And I also, people have asked me in the past how I handle taxes since I do a lot of these freelancing websites. And what I would suggest, if you're a normal person, what you should do is just take 25% and put it off to the side, at least 25%. A lot of people do 30%, but you should take 25% of what you earn, just put it into like either like a savings account, high yield savings account, and don't touch it. That way you have it for tax time come the end of the year when you file like that 1099 miscellaneous. But me personally, I take extra federal withholding out of my 9 to 5 paycheck. So I think right now I'm taking $100 and putting it additional federal withholding. Last year that worked beautifully. I never 2 years ago I didn't do that, and I didn't save 25% of my side hustle income either. So we had a really terrifying tax bill at the end of the year. But last year I did $100, like around $100 paycheck. It might have been a little bit less because I wasn't working as much on side hustles. But I think I took like 50 to 70 out of my paycheck, like federal withholding. And our taxes last year were like net at perfect. We didn't owe anything. The only thing that we had to owe was to stupid H&R Block, who charges you a freaking arm and a leg just to file a return if you have more than a simple return. So I take out additional federal withholding each paycheck in order to pay for the taxes. But if you're normal, I would just suggest taking 25, 30% of whatever you earn, put it into a savings account or whatever, and go from there. App and support is worse than remote task. Whew. Well, the bar was already low, and if it's going even lower than remote tasks, then God bless them. Who do you go for high yield SoFi? No, we have two just for different purposes. We have Marcus, which is Goldman Sachs, and then we have um, what's the other? Citizens. Citizens has a high yield. I think both of them right now are getting 4.5. I know SoFi usually has the highest. I know when Marcus was giving us like 4.4, SoFi was at 4.5 or 4.6. So it's like, yeah, you can go for the higher rate, but it's like at that point, we've had a lot of good experiences with both Marcus and Citizens. They're very good with their customer service. We've had to take out a wire for like over 100K when we bought this new house that we're in right now. And Marcus was very good with support, being like, okay, just like, thanks for the heads up. Can you just provide like, your ID one more time real quick? And like we had a wire for over 100K in my wife's bank account in less than like 25 minutes. So customer support was very good. There's no reason I would ever switch. So that's a plug, I guess, for Marcus from Goldman Sachs. But, very basic. I've heard good things about SoFi, but I personally don't have it. So yeah, Marcus and Citizens. Don't forget to deduct your home office. Yeah, I've done that in the past, and H&R Block I found is very weird when filing like individual taxes. Sometimes it lets you like put your deductions for stuff like that, and sometimes it's like very stingent. Like, oh, if you put your side hustle income in 1099 miscellaneous, we're not going to let you like deduct stuff. And sometimes it just doesn't even deduct at all. It's very funky. As someone who like I understand personal tax decently, like I know that's bad for me to say because I'm an accountant, but like, don't forget, I am not a tax accountant by any means. I'm a corporate finance accountant. But like, I don't know. Sometimes H&R Blocks is just so funky. You recently took data annotation coding starter assessment. Any updates? So I didn't do coding. That's one thing. I didn't do the coding assessment. I did the core, which was like working on chatbots and stuff. Um, for the core, I was not. They're still reviewing it. I think that's been 2 full days, maybe like 2.5 full days of being in review for the core. For the coding, all I know is that like if you're good in like Java and Python, and you have like what one of my commenters said who took the coding because someone else was inquiring about it, is like if you have like a 6 or 7 out of 10 skill set that you should be able to do the work for the coding, but like I can't speak to doing the coding assessment and like how long that takes. I had another commenter. I don't know if it was on this live view or not, but someone else just commented on my channel saying they took the coding and they were accepted within like less than a day. So maybe their coding is a little more streamlined for how they grade. Essentially, like maybe they're looking for a specific output when you do the coding assessment. And they're like, oh, you didn't give this answer. Okay, well then you're not going to work. So I don't know what goes on there. Excuse me a sec. I gotta apply. Yes. Sounds good. Okay. No response after 4 days. I know it sucks. And you could be really good at what you do with coding, or you could have answered everything right. And who knows if they even looked at it yet. It's just it's the absolutely the worst part. It's just the waiting game is the worst. Data annotation tech is difficult. It's hard to come up with conversational prompts. I stick to the evaluate responses that are already generated for me. Yeah, I it is very annoying to keep coming up with prompts. And I've had projects like you've had too, where you have to like compare two responses and justify and whatever. For whatever reason, I don't like doing those tasks, although they pay just as well or whatever. And I can completely understand like why you would prefer that over like the coming up with your own. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I hate it doing the comparison ones. But you are absolutely right. Like consistently coming up with new prompts. I think for me too, it's like because I have undiagnosed ADHD, it's like I constantly want to move on to the next task. So when in my head I'm like, oh, I want to avoid long stories or made up stories, or I don't want to do a like a 3 paragraph writing assessment. So it's like my brain always goes to like make a list of this, make a list of this, and I try to make it fun for myself where it's like, give me a list of 50 Nintendo GameCube games. And then like I don't look at the website and then I just think in my head, oh, let's see if I can name 50 GameCube games off the top of my head. But they want different, you can't just give a list every single time you do a prompt. So I know exactly what you mean. It's like I do a listing one, like one out of every five. And then I typically do like an email, like write a pissed off email to your boss who, is considering firing you, and do a tweet from like a fictional president of a fictional country. So I do stuff that tends to be like shorter because I hate coming up with long stories. I don't know what it is. It's just like when I'm on a freelancing site like Annotation.tech, I don't want to like type out these long paragraphs. And I know you get paid by hour, so it doesn't really make a difference. But it's just like the thought of like putting 20 to 30 minutes on an individual task. I just don't like doing that. I don't know what it is, but I think it's just part of my ADHD brain. I want to like do the task, get it done, do the task, get it done, get paid. And it's like, I think that's why I'm still addicted to Mechanical Turk and making like $1 to $10 a week on that. Have I tried print on demand? So I've tried Amazon merch on demand, but I can't say that I've tried too hard. I did like one design. Um, I do know people specifically on merch on demand. I haven't really seen anyone, at least like that I follow personally, that have done any of the other stuff like the it's not Printify. I know there's a lot of websites that you can do the print on demand stuff, but I only have experience with merch on demand. I've sold one, and it was just like a design that I put. It was just like "must be nice" in letters because I used to say that in college all the time. But I sold one tank top, and it was like in Japan, ironically enough. But can't say I've tried so hard. I know with print on demand, like the tips of the trade is like you have to find that niche where it's just like you can use generic cookie cutter artwork where it's like I saw the one video and I have no idea who the YouTuber is. It was like they were showing how like, oh, if you like the outdoors, or if you're like a hiking and camping niche, it's like you can use all these generated assets that have like trees and trailers and stuff like that and park grounds, and then just do a very simple text. It's like I love camping, or some generic crap like that or whatever. And they've showed their payment page, so I know they're not full of crap. and they average like 500 to a grand a month. So there's absolutely money to be made in that. The problem is, again, like every good side hustle here, it's getting oversaturated. And what you have with these kind of websites, and I'm coining this as the Pinterest effect. Every guru side hustle out there will be like, okay, you make these like mugs, and they have like a specific niche that you're targeting, and then you make a Pinterest account and you just put your crap on there. And let me tell you, it's like that is just ruining Pinterest as a site. All you see right now is all these like crappy advertisements for your shitty products that you don't even make. And like I know people are making money from that. So it's like I'm not knocking, the effort to make money here. It's just like, God, you were diluting what was a decent site for like recipes and all this crap. Now all you see, you log on to Pinterest and it's just all crappy advertisements for either like drop shipping stuff from China that you don't need, and all these print on demand stuff where it's, oh, you here's a TikTok trend on a mug, and it's like, get it now. I'm gonna spend $200 on my advertising and poison your feed with it. And it's just like, I know there's money to be made. I know there is, but it's just like there's always that moral ground for me. It's just like, you know what? I freaking hate this. I don't want to do it. Like I just hate that everything is now an advertisement. And I know it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Such a basic word. It's hypocritical of me as a YouTuber, someone who makes money from ad revenue on YouTube, to say like I hate ads, but it's like ads are fine. It's just when you're targeting ads from stupid drop shipping or print on demand stuff that you put all 5 minutes of effort and you're just dumping money into for advertising to shove down people's throats. It's just like that to me is just like it's such crap, and you're just diluting people and you're diluting the website, and it's just everything just becomes a big advertisement. So who's the duck? Oh, the that's actually a seagull. I love the seagull. Is my favorite. It's the East Coast Boardwalk. See, it's got a little French fry in its mouth. I think it's adorable. Zelkies. It's Rehoboth Beach in Delaware. I think that's where Joe Biden grew up in. I don't get in politics. It's just where he grew up in, but I love it. That's the arcade, and I want it in a claw machine. No, I can't get him back up. Sit. I love that little seagull. Let's see. Let me respond to another email here. And then I can get on to a new topic to talk about side hustle wise. Okay, cool. Oh, I love Rehoboth. I've actually I first went to Rehoboth only like 2 years ago, and I was a Wildwood, New Jersey family because my family went to Wildwood every single year. I think my parents have been to Wildwood every single year for 30 years straight, so that's all I knew for a while. And Rehoboth is just it's a vibe. It's so much more peaceful. It's so much more family oriented. And it's just I like Rehoboth a lot. You look so handsome. Get out of here. You can't tell me this big ass nose looks handsome. Uh, Daughter used to work in a vet's office there. I will say my sister thought about being a vet, but I don't think she had the. It's like she likes the idea of helping animals, but I feel like if she saw an animal in distress, it would not work out for her. But yeah, I absolutely love Rehoboth. I regret that I've only started going there like in my 30s. So in terms of like other side hustles that I'm thinking about doing on the immediate horizon, I'm not sure. Like I said earlier in the stream, like I do really want to get back into flipping items on eBay and whatnot. But again, I just talked about how like I hate how Pinterest is like this big dumping ground for people who are drop shipping and just doing crappy print on demand stuff. It's the same morality of like, is flipping stuff moral, right? Like if you have like a grandma down the street saying, "Oh, I'm selling my son's video games, and you can have them for $1 a pop," and you know that they're worth like $20 to $30 a piece. Like there's that morality too. And I have people think that I'm full of shit when I'm saying this, but it's like I have offered people more than what they were selling just because like I'm honest with them. I'm look, like this is worth a little bit more than you're selling for it. I'm still going to undercut you and pay, just so I can flip it or whatever. But it's like if something is worth, like I had a family selling like an entire Wii U set and like 30 games. Like the eBay value was like 450 bucks and they were selling it for 50 bucks. I'm like, look, like this is worth way more than 50 bucks. Let me give you at least 150 bucks to make me feel better. I'm still getting a good deal, but it'll make me feel better about it. But it's that whole morality too, right? It's like I hate when like Gary V of all people goes to yard sales, a freaking multimillionaire goes to yard sales trying to flip crap, and he's like talking people already down from their good deals, and it's just like that's a scummy move. It's like you're going to sell it for more. Why are you talking them down? At the very least, if you're going to flip it, give them what they're asking for. If you know you're going to make money, don't like talk them down. Like if I for example, my best score ever was on Upwork, which I don't even know if that app exists anymore, but essentially it's like a Facebook marketplace. And this person didn't know what they had. They were selling a sealed Silent Hill for PlayStation 1. And this was during the COVID boom where it's like every single collectible on earth just skyrocketed in price. So they were selling a sealed Silent Hill for $5. And I knew that minimum it was like a $200 game. And I'm like, at that point, would I be like, I'll give you $3 or I'll give you $2. Give me a break. It's like I ended up giving them like 50 bucks. And I'm just like, dude, it's worth more than $5. Like I'll feel guilty, honestly, taking it for $5. But it's just like there is that morality. It's like if you're a millionaire like Gary Vee, why the hell are you talking people down? How many subscribers are you hoping to reach this year for your growing YouTube channel? Honestly, I don't have a count. It's like long when I first started doing like the road to retire stuff, because this channel used to be Dividend Grinder and I used to talk about personal finance and stuff. I think I had like 6,000 subscribers or whatever. When I first started doing this stuff, I was like, okay, maybe I'll get to 10,000 subscribers one day. But the fact that we're 15K is insane. But I don't have any personal goals. Um, I guess, down the line at some point, I would like to reach 25,000 subscribers, but the subscriber number doesn't really mean anything. I've seen channels out there that they have like 100,000 subscribers and maybe, some of these are bot subscribers or something, but their videos get like 1,000 views. Like like people have 100K subscribers and they get less views than my little crappy side hustle videos. And it's just like, okay, I don't really care if I have like a million subscribers and then get no views. What's the point of that? So it's just like, I know that subscribers, like it's dopamine addiction to get that number up and up and up. But if it doesn't correlate to more views, AKA more views, which means more revenue down the line, and what's really the point of getting the subscribers? It's just amazing that anyone wants to follow this journey. And I think that's kind of what separates this channel versus other side hustle channels. It's like you're seeing my journey. You're not necessarily seeing a salesman for data annotation.tech. I'm just telling you, hey, this is one of the better sites out there. I've made over $1,000 doing data annotation.tech. And it might not necessarily be my end all be all for side hustles, but I have done it in my repertoire and it's part of the I don't know how much money I've earned on side hustles already, like in my lifetime, like $20,000 or whatever. But it's just, you know, I think that's what separates. It's like the authenticity, but it's like you're also following my journeys. So it's like anything that I making money on side hustles, you're actually seeing. It's not just like, oh, you could do this. You could make 100 a week doing this, and then I have no idea what it is, or just spewing out crap. I will say I'm hoping to get some kind of like sponsorship or something. That would be nice. But then am I selling out? I always go back and forth with that in my head too. But I don't think I have a large enough channel to like get any sponsorships anytime soon. Have you ever tried drop shipping, Forex, affiliate marketing? So affiliate marketing, I have an Amazon influencer program, which I show every single day how much I've earned from that in the past. Yes. Yeah, so affiliate marketing, I have Amazon influencer program, which one of the easiest side hustles and one of the best that I've ever seen in my life. It's so scalable. It's just I ran out of stuff to review in my house, honestly. Um, Trading Forex. Forex is, I might save a separate video for that. But long story short, this is going to sound like such crap, but trading Forex, I have a buddy who I worked with in my first job out of college. And he was an Excel wizard and he tried developing all these algorithms, right, for trading Forex. And I know it's all these buzzwords that I'm saying right now, but he's shown his results to me and he actually now is selling his system or whatever. I might try just because I think it's like $500 you can give him, and then he puts it and he does all the trading for you. It's like a trading bot, but he has his own unique algorithm or whatever. I might give him the $500 and just see what happens. And then I feel like that could be a good YouTube video too. It's like, hey, does this Forex trading thing work? And knowing it was a buddy that I worked with, it would be interesting if I could rip into him if it's crap and I lose money on it. But Forex could be a future thing. I would never ever make it like a main hustle or anything or whatever, but it might be a unique experience to see if I could really grow doing that. Drop shipping, no, though. I've never ever, and I never will try drop shipping. I think that's like the lowest form of side hustling you can do. I know you can make a lot. Well, back in the day, you can make a lot of money drop shipping. Now it's a lot harder just because of all the saturation. But I, I don't like the morality behind drop shipping. I think you're just screwing people over. It's like scalping new stuff that people want. It's like you're not providing any value. You're just making it harder for a common person to get that item. Update on remote task. Gotten any task? Nope. Have not gotten anything. The last thing I got was wedge shorts, which is like doing that framing around the eyes. And it's like you're telling every frame whether they're blinking or not. But I haven't even gotten any of those tasks in over a month. And, those only paid like $12 an hour. So it wasn't really worth it. So thank you, Francis. I'm trying to be as authentic as I can here. That's part of the nice thing about talking to accountants. We live in black and white. We're not gonna sugarcoat shit. It is what it is. Um, oh, this is like the easiest mechanical Turk task ever. What state do you live in? You get 10 cents. Thank you very much. And that's why I love it. In and out, 10 cents. Boom, 3 seconds. You'll only be selling out if you accept sponsors that compromise. And yeah, I thought about that too. It's like, but that's also it too. It's like I don't know what sponsors I would want on this channel to be like. I fully agree with what they're doing because I don't know who would approach me anyway. Truth be told, and this goes back to the affiliate marketing that Thomas was asking about with the Amazon influencer program. You usually, once you grow your channel and you make a lot of videos, you usually get people who reach out to you. And I've gotten a couple, I just didn't like the products, but they'll say like, hey, can you do a review of this product? And then we'll give you a free one. And that's kind of the sponsorship, I guess, I was really looking for with Amazon Influencer Program. It's just, I haven't gotten anything good. I think the best one opportunity that I did get was like a backpack for hiking. And I was so excited. I'm like, hell yeah, I'll take that backpack and I'll do a review of it. I get to keep the backpack for free, but it ended up being like a kid's backpack. And like the reviews were like 2 out of 5 stars. So I'm like, I can't do that. But in terms of like YouTube sponsorships, it's like, I don't know who would be interested in sponsoring this type of content anyway. Um, I don't know. Maybe you'll get one of the generic ones like NordVPN or something. But do I want to encourage people from outside the United States with US only side hustles using a VPN? I don't know. But we'll see. I never had to cross that bridge yet. So I can't say what my morality radar will be when it happens. What we got here? Oh, Mechanical Turk. Fill out this 6-minute survey for 5 cents. Yeah, how about I not do that? No wonder nobody uses your platform anymore. Thanks to everyone who's just following along, watching my face and watching my mouth yabble for no reason at all. 17 people watching is crazy, man. I think the last live stream that I did, the only live stream that I did on this channel was me playing Clubhouse games on the Nintendo Switch. I was just playing Yahtzee. And like at the peak, I had like 6 viewers. So the fact that I have 17 is pretty crazy. Ugh. I do really need to, but so let's talk 40,000, 40 pound challenge that I'm doing right now. Most Let's just talk about the side hustle part, right? That's why you're on this live stream or whatever. $40,000 in 1 year. When I did the math on 40K in side hustles in 1 year, I just realized how crazy it is. So for the math on that, to reach 40K in 1 year, and I think this year's lucky because it's a leap year, so we get 29 days in February, but it's like $110 a day to reach 40,000 a year. And it's like when I'm doing that math in my head, I'm like, oh wow, that's a really tough threshold to get. So right now I'm slightly under pace, which is fine. I'm gonna make it up this week because I'm doing a ton of consulting work. Yesterday and today, I've done a ton of consulting work. Even before this hour that I started live streaming, I've been doing consulting work now for 4 hours. So $50 an hour, that's 200 bucks right there. And yeah, I know it's pre-tax or whatever, but that's still a nice chunk of change. I know once I get past the end of April, where my consulting work stops, it's going to be really difficult to get even close to 110 a day. So right now I'm a little below pace, but once I get paid for my consulting work, which is every Friday, um, I know I'll be on pace to get 110 a day and I'll get that $40,000 a year, but this pace is hard. So just like 100% transparency, like an average YouTube day for me now, and that's assuming if I 40K targets pre-tax. Thanks for asking that. I know right now on YouTube, like the past like month or so, going into this month, I'm averaging like 40 to $50 a day, right? I'll lower it. 35 to $50 a day is what I'm averaging right now. And then on Amazon Influencer Program, ever since Christmas has stopped, like the Christmas rush, so November, December, my Amazon Influencer Program earnings have been god awful. And if you're following me on the 40/40 challenge that I do every night, you know that like I'm getting like $1 to $5 on Amazon Influencer Program. So it's like daily, if you look at the YouTube and Amazon Influencer Program, which is like the more passive stuff that I don't have to actively work on for that day, I'm getting roughly $50 a day. So to reach that $110 daily target, it's like you have to make up that $60 gap. And obviously, days that I go in the office, ain't no way in hell I'm getting like 60 bucks on data annotation, tech, and mechanical Turk. So that's why I did stuff like selling off 9 of my favorite Nintendo Switch games to close that gap. And also I'm doing all this consulting work on the weekends. So, like I said, I've worked 4 hours today on consulting at $50 an hour. So it's just like I have to do all this extra stuff outside of just the normal data annotation, tech and stuff to reach that $110 a day threshold to get to the 40K. So it's like I have my work cut out for me. Now there's no like no gun to my head if I don't reach the 40K. It's not like it's the end of the world or anything. It's just it's what I have my mind to, and it's like I feel like if I have that target in my head of knowing it's $110 a day, it's going to motivate me a little bit more. But yeah, that's what it is right now. What comments? What site are you using for consulting work? So it's completely for another company. It's a big company. I don't want to get into who I'm working for or whatever, but it's financial consolidation software, and it's a known company. It's one that I used to work for in my career. Voice to text has gotten so good. Type 80, you need to use it for large typing task. Yeah, I have actually honestly, when I was doing remote tasks, I was utilizing the voice to text. So I had even a this is the microphone that I use now. It's just a Logitech Yeti Orb, and it's like 50 or 60 bucks or whatever. But I had an even crappier microphone from Amazon. It was like a tone or it was like 20 to 25 bucks. And I was still using the voice to text on remote tasks for like the longer chatbot stuff. So you're not wrong. That is I gotta utilize that stuff more. It's just the ADHD brain. So it's like that would be really good for stuff like data annotation tech, where it's like I know I said earlier in the stream, I hate doing like the long form writing my own story or whatever. But I feel like now that you said that, that's a really good point. I got to like bring it back and do it for that kind of stuff. Huh. No, I'm not gonna lie. I feel really stupid now for not thinking about doing that. So thank you very much, Pietro. That's something that I'm writing it down. I'm glad I'm taking notes from this conversation with you guys. That's why it's part of why I did the YouTube channel, right? It's like I want opinions from other people too. It's like half these websites that I did work on, it's like I didn't even know they existed until I did this channel and people were like, hey, did you try this? Hey, did you try this? So it's like getting little tips and stuff like this is very helpful. Do voice to text more often. Yeah, that's a very good point. So thank you so much for bringing that up. But yeah, so 40K is going to be an insane. And it's like, here's the thing. It's like, I shot myself in the foot in terms of like financial freedom getting that Toyota Tundra. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the truck. And it's like, I never in my life thought I would get a Toyota Tundra. But I shot myself in the foot. At the end of the day, with the electrical warranties I get, I paid over $60,000 and my interest rate is 8.3%. This is why I'm transparent, right? I'm fully aware this is a shitty deal that I got. And it's also motivating too. It's like I'm not going to say I'm as crazy as Dave Ramsey with debt, but I hate being in debt. So it's like I saw that 62K and it's like, all right, I'm so motivated. Let me get $40,000 of that truck paid off in a year. Let's see if I can do it. And then a part of me was like, well, what if I paid off the monthly payments, which are over $1,300? Again, just being transparent. My truck payment is $1,300 a month. What if I paid that out of my bank account and then use side hustles on top? I could theoretically like pay off the truck in less than a year if that were to happen. So it's like I'm toying with that idea, but at the same time, my bank account is going to get decimated if I do that. So it's like I'm on the fence with what I'm going to do. But point being is that like the 40K challenge was meant to like kick my ass into gear and pay off this truck as soon as possible. I have no regrets on getting the truck. I do have regrets on how much I paid, and I feel like I rushed into it a little bit. I was so worried about like I have a crappy ass two-door Kia Forte, and like I know when I do have the kid in May, like I'm not gonna be able to bend over, put that kid in the back seat. It's a two-door car, and it's like that's gonna be such a nightmare. I just wanted something bigger, especially for me at 6'5", and it's like I want something when I have back pains. I don't want to climb down into a tiny car, so it's like I knew I needed a truck, and I was so upset that I did not fit in a Toyota 4Runner because that's what I was looking at. But being 6'5" with this giraffe neck is not good, so it's like I had to get the truck. I should have done my research more on like could I gotten an older model with more miles and just been a lot easier. But so I do regret spending as much as I did, but I don't regret getting the truck at all. But hey, the 40K a year challenge is to get that truck paid off as soon as possible. Every single penny that I earn from every single side hustle I do, even Mechanical Turk, where I've earned like $1 today, that single dollar is going to the truck as additional payment. I'm not saving a single dime out of my side hustles. Not a single penny hits my bank account and stays in my bank account for more than one day. All right. Dating annotation not working in Canada because I don't know if I'm Canadian, but I was approved in November. Unfortunately, you don't get a response within a week. You unlikely can. Yeah, I've seen that too, where it's like a lot of people said too on Reddit forums, where it's like if you don't get a response within a week, you most likely didn't pass. But I don't know if that's actually good or not. Reread what you said. It's been slow, so maybe they have Upwork oversaturated. What is Upwork? World's work marketplace. Is this kind of like a Fiverr? Is that what work is? Upwork? Don't be super hard on yourself. Think having a child in the way warrants spending a little extra security. That's what my wife likes to justify it as, right? But I know in reality she was just a passenger princess. But yeah, I know, and it's just like part of my yeah, thanks, Goof Gamer. Yeah, I can see Upwork's a freelancing site, kind of like Fiverr. Which, by the way, I would love to try something like Fiverr. I just don't know what the heck I would sell, honestly, like what I would market myself. But yeah, one of my long-term goals is like, and I don't know if this is going to happen at this point, just because we bought this house, but like ideally, I would love a lot of land. I'm talking like 10 acres plus, and like I want to get an ATV. I love ATVs, and it's just like there's nowhere to really go in my immediate area. So it's like I want to get a truck, put my ATV into the truck, and just go somewhere and just ride ATVs. I love it so much. So it's like that's also another reason I don't necessarily regret my truck decision. It's just that's eons down the line. That's like when I pay off the truck and I pay off a chunk of the house, maybe then I'll take my side hustles and just get the ATV that I want. But until then, eh, any work site. I'm from India. Well, you could try Mechanical Turk. Um, India is so hard. Anyone who comes to me asking me for work, it's always Asia, like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. And then I also get, I'm from Kenya, Nigeria, and it's like, what are the best sites here? Honest to God, I don't know. I hate answering that, but I really don't know. And it's like, I know people think that I'm like this like all-encompassing side hustle guru or something, but in reality, I just like busting my ass on the side hustles that I do here. And it's just like they just so happen to be like US based side hustles. So I can't really give any suggestions out there for like international. It's like I know one forma is international, but again, specifically India, I don't know if one forma is really going to have like India based assignments or not. So it's just like unless people who are commenting on my channel from India saying they had success. I know there have been people from India that have used VPN or remote task. Again, I am not endorsing that, but I know they have used remote task. But then they'll use the VPN, they'll get in the remote task, and then they'll end up getting paid like $1 an hour. So it's just like, you can do that in your home country. It's like it doesn't really make sense then to like risk getting your account banned or something from other websites just to make $1 an hour because you used a VPN or whatever. So I wish I had a better answer under 7 minutes, but I really don't for people in like India and Africa. I don't. I honestly have no good ideas. And it's like whenever I look at other people's YouTube channels who do the side hustle niche, whenever they say, oh, international friendly, it's like sites like OneForma, or it's just like generic, like, oh, you can go out to this career website and say, oh, we want workers from India. And it's just like, well, no shit. Like anyone knows how to use a job hunting website. It's just, I personally don't know any side hustle. Whew. Hit the used market for ATVs. Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest. Like, I love riding ATVs, but I've never personally owned one. I have zero knowledge on anything about them, and I couldn't tell you the first thing about them. I know I just want one, and I'll figure it out as I go. But like that picture in the background is in Sedona, Arizona, and I rode ATVs in Arizona, and it was just like the most. Oh, it was so freeing, and I just loved the open desert and just going around all the red rock, and it was so gorgeous. And like that was like I did ATVs in Arizona, I did ATVs in Las Vegas, and it was just like the most freeing experience. I'm like, I need one at some point in my life. I don't care how old I am, I'm getting one at some point. But that's why I wanted the land, and I know I don't have that in my current house, but it's just like I would love the 10 acres and just take the ATV and just rip that like 5 acres apart and just go for it. Another ad. This one was about Fent. The heck is Fent? Fent? Fentanyl? Was it saying don't do fentanyl? I've been getting ads on the live stream. Oh, YouTube's really going for it. They want their ad money, don't they? I'm sure, I'll do this stream. Google will put an ad and I'll probably get like 5 cents max from it. I'm doing the whole stream. Any plans on using your truck for side hustles? Well, the way I thought about doing like furniture pickup, and then someone was like, be careful about bed bugs. And that kind of scared me off the idea. But I know what you're saying. Just do it for like hauling and helping other people haul stuff. But that is a possibility. I am thinking about ways, but in my mind, I want my truck paid off before I start doing that, which is like just another incentive for me to bust my ass and try and pay this off in like less than 2 years on a 5-year loan. And then I'll be more open to like, okay, if my truck gets dinged up or whatever, it is a truck. I don't want to treat it like it's this like Audi R8 that has to be garage bound or whatever. So it's like I'm definitely not opposed to using my truck as a side hustle in the future. It's just I do have that mentality. I want to pay it off. I don't know if that's the right justification or not. That's just how I personally feel. But it is going to be an idea like helping people move or whatever. I gotta get all the stuff for it too. Right now, I don't even have a tonneau cover, which is like the cover that goes over the bed. So right now, my bed on my truck is just exposed, and I don't have any straps. I don't have any rope or anything to tie it down and hold it to the back of the truck. So it's like even if I do want to get into that side hustle in the future, I really need to, get the stuff for it. But do you ever think about your YouTube followers when you aren't working on your videos? Of course. So on my phone, I have the YouTube Studio app installed, and every single comment that I got on every single video that I post, including community posts, I get a notification for. So I typically am very good at responding like within 5 minutes of getting a comment on any video. Of course, I'm thinking about you guys that follow my channel. Let's be real. YouTube is above and beyond my highest paying side hustle right now. And I find it ironic and I feel almost guilty making money on YouTube because it's just talking about side hustles. It's like YouTube's a side hustle where I talk about side hustles because it's one of my side hustles. And it's like this never ending loop. And I hate that kind of thing. But it's just like, I feel like that's why I have to make it more my own personal journey based rather than me spouting generic side hustle information that the world can just Google for themselves. I feel like that's what makes this more interesting. But at the same time, it's like every video that I do that gets good views is like, oh, here's a data annotation.tech. I took the starter assessment. Here's 1 year of data annotation.tech. So it's just like those videos always do the best. And the ones that I personally love doing the most, where it's like my journey and personal and all the shorts, do the worst. So it's just this weird cycle. But it's just like, of course, I think of my followers. It's like without you people watching my channels and giving me a chance at like making this 40K a reality, I would have nothing to really like look forward to when I'm doing this type of stuff, doing these videos. It's like if I just sit here on a screen and do Mechanical Turk and side work all day long, what's so fulfilling about that? But it's like sharing the journey is fulfilling. So I thank everyone for watching the channel. So it's like, yeah, of course I think about my channel followers outside of doing these videos directly. Do you know anything about Dreamport? No, I have never even heard of Dreamport. Yeah, Sarah Char might be a bot. They said I'm handsome, for Christ's sakes, and only a freaking robot would do that, right? I'm not a bot. I have no idea. Dude, I didn't say it. I just want to say, Celestial Mall, I just want to say you're my favorite YouTuber on financial advice and side hustles. I do a lot of Mechanical Turk. Well, if you do a lot of Mechanical Turk, are you a follower of me? Because I hate it. No, I just thank you for being a follower. I appreciate that. I'm on Mechanical Turk right now. I wish I could just like take my webcam and show that I'm on the Mechanical Turk webpage right now. I'm just so engrossed with these comments right now. Honestly, when I did this live stream, because it was completely unplanned, it wasn't scheduled or anything, I just set it up and I assumed that I would just be focusing on Mechanical Turk and my consulting work. And maybe once in a while I would get a comment, but you guys have been awesome. You've been asking a lot of questions and, posting a lot of helpful information for me. So I've been completely engrossed with this. So thank you so much for everyone. I may have indirectly trained you. You can't get. Are you a bot, Sarah? Are you a bot? You said I'm handsome, and who the hell would say that except for a robot? BJ, transparency is refreshing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Got to go for the authenticity, right? If you don't have your authenticity, you don't have anything in life. And if you ask my wife, she will tell you that I'm a little too authentic at times. And I found out really quick in the white collar corporate world that if you're someone like me who doesn't cherry coat anything, you can either be someone's best friend or they hate you immediately. And you just got to find out who loves dark humor and who loves to hear the truth. And you'll be all right in the white collar world. I thought bots only talk about investments, pointing to it. You're not wrong, Martino. I've seen plenty of those. I love when you go on the bigger financial channels, like ones that have like something like a financial education who I can't stand, or like a Graham Stephan, and you look at like a lot of the comments and it's like it's just a bot saying like, You are completely correct about the stock market. I followed Jules Van Dongen trading program and I've made $30,000 in 1 year. And then it's like a chain of bots of like 30 comments like, yes, I have also used Jules Van Dongen trading program and I have made $30,000 in 1 year. What can you give me more information? It's just like, oh my God. Like, first of all, I've gotten a ton of like spam and bot comments on my YouTube channel, but I block them like from ever posting again on my channel like immediately. And I don't understand why people are like, do people think like a million spam comments makes their videos like more like the algorithm likes that kind of stuff? Because it doesn't. It recognizes that it's a bot comment and that these are all like non-organic comments. So it's just like, it's not like that boosts the algorithm or anything. Like likes do and genuine views do, but not bot comments. So I never understand why bigger YouTubers don't just like block them, especially considering a lot of those bigger YouTubes like a Graham Stephan, they don't even edit their own stuff and take care of their channel anyway. So they have a team of people who can just edit that crap for them. So I don't understand why they don't just limit that bot stuff. Let's see. Glad to catch you live. Glad you joined my live. You know what? People will only follow you if you talk about money. I struggle to grow my YouTube channel because I talk about YouTube growth. I've seen a lot of people that, who's that one guy that I did a video, Jack Sucks at Life or whatever. And it's his whole YouTube channel is just talking about YouTube. So it's just like, you can do it. I just feel like that niche is like, there's only so much about YouTube growth that you can talk about. And there's a ton of people doing it. So it's just like, I completely understand why you would struggle to gain traction because it's like, there's only so much about YouTube growth that you can talk about. And I'll back you up here. I'll give you my experience because I have talked about stuff about growing my own personal YouTube channel. And they legitimately might be the worst performing videos on this channel. Is like, I did this one trick on YouTube, which was like unlisting all my old dividend videos. And like, I think that was one of the worst performing videos on this channel's history. So it's like, I completely understand you not getting any traction with the YouTube growth. You either have to just be like, you either got to strike lightning in a bottle and people are into that kind of stuff, or else it's oversaturated with the same information. So it's kind of hard to generate that kind of stuff and get traction if you're a newer channel. So I completely get it. And yet it's like, I think people love following the money because America has one of the worst, rich and poor dynamics in the entire world. So it's like people are always looking to make more money. And obviously the ads on money making YouTube channels make the most. So that's obviously going to, spur more interest in like a YouTube growth. But it's just like, I would love to make videos of me just like playing Nintendo video games, GameCube and stuff like that. But I just know like it's harder to get in. It's so oversaturated, but I would be so passionate and it would be so disheartening to me if I put my passion into something, my true passion of like playing video games or like wearing a GoPro, riding ATVs and playing golf and all this stuff. I know if I put my passion and nobody watches it, I would be so disheartened. So it's just like, sometimes you do have to follow the money, but I know it. I completely understand your pain of having a YouTube channel and it not growing, especially with YouTube growth. Celestial, I know it's not the best, lol, but for someone with mental issues trying to work on myself, money is money, and I feel like I can still. Hey, like I said, Mechanical Turk might not be the best, but for that dopamine of like doing a task in 3 seconds and getting paid immediately, even if it's something as small as 3 cents, there's something so satisfying and so rewarding of like doing the task and immediately getting paid, and the task doesn't take longer than 5 seconds. There's something so rewarding, and it's just like, I don't care if I only make $1 from it. That's $1 earned, dollar going towards the truck. And so it's like, that's why I'll never give up Mechanical Turk fully, even though it is above and beyond not the smartest for me to do, because data annotation.tech pays $27.50 an hour for my project. So it'd be stupid of me to focus on Mechanical Turk, but I'll never give it up. And I love doing it on my phone at night while I'm laying on bed for a couple minutes, just getting like 10 cents here and there. My biggest fear is completing all the trainings on remote tasks and getting no task. Yeah. I'm learned that doing the starter assessment on data annotation.tech, how that took over. Well, it took for me 45 minutes just because I'm a fast reader, but it's just like, I couldn't imagine taking hours on a task and then you don't get any work. It's just unpaid training that you don't get. And it's just like, yeah, it's complete stupidity. They should pay you at least like $1. It's just like thanks for your effort. But yeah. Greg Pearl, hey man, just watching a couple stuff You're Greg Pearl from Whitehall. I know you, but hey, man, just watch a couple of your videos. Pretty fascinating stuff. Hope you hit your goals. Thank you so much. Chiwu fan, is that saying that right? I do a subscriber here. You motivated to do side hustles. I wish I thought about it last year too. Hey, if I can provide some motivation, by all means, take the motivation and run with it. Holy crap, it's almost 4 o'clock. It's like I post how much money I make on specific ones for transparency mostly, but it's just like I know some people do get motivated by that. Like, for instance, me personally, right? The Amazon influencer program, I've watched so many other YouTubers, and I usually don't. I don't like other YouTubers talking about side hustles. To me, it's kind of boring. But with the Amazon influencer program, I used to watch all these YouTubers and they would show their page, which is illegal, but they would show their earnings where they were making, some of these people make $5,000 to $10,000 a month. And like, I would get hit with that motivation bug. And it's just like, oh, I got to upload more videos. I need to hit that. It's like, I'm so jealous. I got to get my own dough, right? It's like, I got to do all these things they're doing. So it's like, I completely get the showing of the money is motivational, but I quickly realized if you don't have a target to shoot for, your motivation is going to be really short-lived. And I'm so glad I'm mad at myself at the when I did the video, which I'll admit was a tiny bit clickbaity, but not really, which was like the miserable reality of online side hustles. That was pure from the heart. But I'm pissed that I waited till the very end to say everyone goes through that honeymoon phase with side hustles because it's so true. And it's exactly what happened with me in remote task. It's like I made that $2,000 in 2 months on a remote task, and I was in that honeymoon phase of like, oh my God, like I could do this every single month and get like just over $1,000. And you get that initial motivation. But I quickly realized because at that time I didn't really have a goal with any of my YouTube videos. I didn't have a goal of like I want to pay off the house like early using this targeted approach. So it's like I quickly realized, okay, I'm sick of doing this because I don't really have a target to get there. So it's like, I know seeing the money can be motivating, but unless you have that target, which for me right now is paying off that damn truck in my driveway in less than 2 years, unless you don't have that target, you're going to like burn out really, really fast. And it's like, at this point in my life, I'm so used to the grind. So it's like, I kind of embrace it, but there are days where I'm just freaking miserable, right? I come home from work and the last thing I want to do is go on data annotation.tech and write a story about my cat playing blackjack at the casino. It's just like, no thanks. I don't care that it pays well. I need my break. But it's just like when I have that target in my head of like, I'm paying off this damn truck in 2 years and I am showing people what I make every single day through my shorts, that motivation is there. So it's like, you got to have that target, got to have that kick in the butt, or else you will struggle. That honeymoon phase will burn out very fast. Does Outlier pay as much as Remote Task? I would imagine because it pretty much is Remote Task. Now everyone sounds like bot. Some call it shiny object syndrome. Yeah, pretty much. Did I pass the most recent starter assessment? The starter assessment got accepted within 5 minutes. It's the qualification for the core that I'm waiting on. No, I have not heard back on that yet. It's been like 2.5 days. I'm assuming you're talking about the DAT. No, I've not got accepted yet or heard back anything from yet. I logged on today and I still haven't. It still says the same thing that it has for the past 2 days. I was doing 3 hours a day on top of my regular 9 to 5 for data annotation for the first month. Now I can barely hit 1 hour a day. The burnout is real. And Josh, just to that point, one of the Reddit subs that I followed is Overemployed, where it's these people who work like 2 or more work from home, like full-time jobs at the same time, and they just juggle monitors and have all this stuff. That was a motivation to me, like, well, you know what? I can do this because I have data annotation.tech access. I will do that two jobs at the same time, and maybe I'll make something outrageous like 200K, and then you will go insane doing that kind of stuff. I don't know how people do the overemployed stuff. First of all, I have social anxiety where it's just like if I got caught, like my brain would just explode and melt. And I know people would just be like, oh, whatever, you lost a job or whatever. But it's just like, I personally would have a mental anxiety up the wazoo if I tried to do 2 full-time jobs at the same time. But even with something of data annotation.tech, like I thought to myself, I could technically do like, I'm getting paid $27.50 an hour. Some people don't make that in their full-time jobs. I could do both at the same time. And it's just, no. I tried it for maybe a day and I was just not having it and was not happy at all. There is mental health involved in this kind of stuff, and everyone knows that. It's just like, but overemployed, that Reddit site was like really one of those like motivational sites for me at first, where I really wanted to like get into it and try it for my best. But I just like, I quickly realized I can't do it. It's just not for me. Pay off that debt immediately, work 9 5 2 on. There are days I'm lazy. Yeah, there. I'm realizing too that it's very on a day basis. There's some days I wake up, have my morning coffee, and I'm just like, I want to take on the world. I don't care if I went in the office and I don't get home until 6:30, and I've been working for 12 hours. I'm getting home and I'm getting on the laptop and I'm working. It's like, and then there's other days where it's just like, I want to go to bed and I don't want to wake up. So it's just like, it is daily for me too. And today's one of those days I did want to really work. I went to the Home Depot at 9 a.m., got stuff for our bathroom that's getting renovated. And then I went right on the computer after I ate my fatty 3 slices of pizza. So there goes the weight loss goal. But I went right into my external consulting, and I'm over 4 hours there now. So it's like, today is one of those days I am fully motivated, and I'm doing this live stream, which I never do. So it's like, I'm clearly motivated today. What else do we got? Remote task is real deal. I guess most of you failed the screening part. I mean, remote task is real. And I've said this before, even though it's just like, I had a negative experience and I have to talk about every experience that I have. And it's like, I noticed when I did that video with remote task, a lot of people had the same experience I do, where it's just like, they promote people who are working on the projects to do the reviewing of the projects. And if you as a reviewer don't change stuff, you get paid less. So it's just like, it comes this never ending loop where it's like the reviewers are unnecessarily changing work that the workers do. And it kicks a lot of people unnecessarily out of these projects when they're doing good work. It's just that the reviewers feel like they have to change stuff just to justify their reviewer part. So it's like, yes, remote test, you can make a lot of money. And if I never got kicked out and I was still doing like the chatbot work, I don't even know if that's still a viable project on that site anymore. But if I was still doing chatbot stuff, with the bonuses, I was making around $25 an hour. So I tell people all the time, don't let my personal experience deter you from trying out remote task or outlier. It's just, be warned. Like, I know I say on data annotation, tech don't rely on the work, but remote task really don't rely on that work. There's way more people than I would like to admit have had issues with remote task. The biggest problem biggest problem people have with DAT is not getting accepted or not hearing back. While the biggest problem with the remote task is people getting in, and then the work, it just becomes a really crapshoot. Wild West is what I always call it. Some days you make a killing, some days you get kicked out of projects. And it's like, way more people have problem with the working side of remote task and the working side of data annotation tech, which is way more important with those kind of stuff. Primo, what is the pay rate task of image annotation on remote task? I mean, the one that I got, which was like the widget. Oh crap! What was the whatever? It was ones where it's like you had people blinking. It was just like a zoom in of their face, and it was like people in slow mo blinking or whatever, and you had to draw boxes of like when they blinked and stuff. That paid. It was either $12 an hour or $14 an hour. I believe it was $12 an hour. So even if you get the other, I know there's one thing on remote task when I was working on that site, someone kept saying like, I don't know, it was LiDAR annotation or 3D segmentation, where it's like you can make like $30 to $40 an hour. But that's literally been the only person on earth that has told me that you can make a lot of money pay rate wise on remote task that isn't like coding related. So I don't know if I just got put into a really bad image annotation on remote task, or if it's like, that's just what the website is and that person's full of shit. Use data annotation as a day job when my freelance work is slow and 8-hour day is rough. I could not imagine working 8 hours a day on data annotation tech. I just couldn't do it. It would be the creation of all the different prompts that I would have to use, right? And I would just find it like, after I do like, I think the most I've ever earned in one day on DAT is $100. And it's just like, that was over 3 hours of work. And I was just like, I had no more ideas left. And I didn't want to like start creating these ideas that I didn't, because what I found on data annotation tech is I hate using external URLs and like researching stuff. I like if I am going to make up stories, at least it's coming out of my own brain. Or if I'm making lists or whatever, it's stuff that I already know. I don't have to go to a website and then try to reword it to change at least 30% of it. So that like I think that's part of my issue too. It's like I don't want to look up historical facts, paste the URL, and then change that, even though I know I could do that if you put a gun to my head and I had to work 8 hours a day on it. But it's just like I don't like doing that stuff. I like thinking off the top of my head because I find it a little more original. But the prompt creation on data annotation.tech, just that $100 day was definitely misnomer for me, an anecdote that is not going to be my reality going forward unless I lose my job or something crazy and I got to do it, because I will do it. I'm crazy like that if I have to do it. Can I use proxy remote task? I said this earlier. It's not recommended and you can get kicked out. People have used VPNs, but they don't get paid the same. So it's like somehow they know you're using the VPN, yet they don't kick you out, yet they know you're not from the US or whatever, so they pay you $1 an hour. So you can try it. I mean, don't blame me if you get like your account banned or whatever. I know they don't approve of it. It's against the terms of service, but what's stopping you from trying, I guess? How can I enter in bubble code categorization? I have no idea. How do you? I've tried so many different ways to get different qualifications for remote task, and like their customer service is god awful. Because I tried getting a hold of one, and they got back to me after like 6 days, and it was the most cookie cutter response. It was like it was chatbot generated. someone who was working on the chatbot generation gave me my answer on remote task when I asked customer service. Isn't that ironic? Finally got an email to start. Appen is a good site. If you are desperate for money, Appen is fine. It's just don't expect to make that much money unless you really put a lot of hours in. Okay, I think something popped up where it's like an ad, so I don't want to talk right now if people got another ad or whatever. Excuse me a second. All right. Do you already have Deep Roots Planet in Pennsylvania that would make it unrealistic move? If housing is that expensive where you're at, I imagine the cost of living isn't low either. So it's like housing where I am personally at. Here's the thing: where I want like 10 acres of land. Like that's like my dream. But at the same time, this house itself is perfect for my wife and I. And I think if I was, I always said this: if I was single, I said by the time I was 30, I'm moving out to either Arizona, Idaho, Wyoming, one of those West Coast states, not West Coast coast, but Western states where you can buy a lot of property and stuff. But I'm pretty sure I'm staying in Pennsylvania. And this house is awesome. I don't want to twist it. Like I love this house with everything. So it's like if I stay here the rest of my life, I'm going to be a happy camper. It's just my dream goal would be to have acres and acres of land with the house on it and just like almost no neighbors and just riding my ATVs, building a basketball court, having everything private access to myself, and just having a fire pit set, just like its own little area, quarter acre, have its own fire pit set with chairs and everything. I would just want the land, but it's just like I don't necessarily need it. And it's just like, yeah, I hate Pennsylvania weather, but at the same time, it's like our family's here, and family means everything to my wife and I. So it's like I don't see us ever moving out of Pennsylvania unless something extreme happens. So it is 4:10. The Cowboys and Packers game is going to start soon, so I am logging off. Thank you so much to everyone who's watched this stream. I can't believe I got this many comments and questions. 21 likes. That's amazing. So thank you so much who's watched the stream. I don't know when my next long form video will be. Of course, I'm putting out my daily short tonight at some time. So thanks everyone for watching, and go enjoy football if you're like me and you want to watch some football. All right. Thanks, everyone.